Okay. That would caught me off guard. Anyway, so welcome to Anime NYC favorite water localization panel. Yay! Mainly in this panel, I'll talk about what's coming for favorite water. I'll talk a little bit about localization. I will have an open Q&A in the second half of the panel, so hopefully I go through all the stuff I need to announce and stuff at the beginning of the panel. So first of all, who here doesn't play favorite water? Kind of raise the hand. I can see some of you just trolling right now. Why? I know you play. I know you well. Some of them, I know you well. Stop lying. Anyway, so for the people that really, if you really don't play favorite water, you chat here by your friend, just be like, hey, let's go see Fate. Or you see it on your program guide, be like, hey, Fate, what is this new anime? So, it's not anime. It's we capitalize on your passion for your waifus. Being straightforward. Anyway, so Fate Water is a mobile game based on the popular Fate franchise. It's the official game. Yeah. On the Fate franchise, where you become the main character and you get to work with your servants to go back in time and try to save humanity from certain doom. And yes, there's a lot of waifu, so people call it waifu collector as well, so there's part of that. Anyway, so you guys are probably here for some information, maybe chords. I know, hey, I know State of NA, I read it. Anyway, so let's go through the announcement first. Go. Save your questions till the end. Put your pitchforks away right now. We'll wait until the end of the panel. If you have questions, I'll be okay to answer them to the best of my ability. Okay.
Thank you.
So, we have some system updates coming. First of all, we're putting in the presentation. So now you can be openly salty to your friends. Anything else? All text is blank. So from the scenario part, click all through story, to save your fingers. So let's sort. At least I know one guy's excited. So right now you can register your servant to be like on a selected lineup, and you can turn on select sort, and all those servants will show up on the top of the screen. So you don't have to like go through it to send with Frat Dozens. Well, I don't know if Frat Dozens has it. Anyway, we have. Level playback, a lot of people have to kind of flip through the playback to hear the long playback where you have to go through the profile and then the voice line to see, but now you can just go ahead and play back with one level lines. And a whole bunch of UI tools. of them. So letting your improvements, so cooldown added to the message display in skill enhancement. So after you enhance your skill in the display screen, that will be like the result. You will show that what's the cooldown right now. Icon indicating that effect increased due to overcharge added to normal phantasm effect during battle. So yeah, if you the OC icon. So if you use normal phantasm, you overcharge it, and then when you attack the enemy, you'll have that OC icon displayed, so you know that the overcharge effect is kicked in. Now we're kind of putting a reminder to tell you finish your master missions. You want those cores, right? So finish your master missions. Now we're putting a reminder 3 days before the end of the master missions. You'll see an icon that says that we're 3 days away, so make sure you finish those. Same quarter summon will be possible even if your inventory is full. So you don't have to summon. Let me pause my stream so I can clear my inventory. Now you can just go ahead. You can let the world know how salty you are. Stop. Keep going. An icon indicating support currently displayed to your friend added to the support setup screen. So when you go to support setup, on the top of the screen next to the team name, it will say if this is the current team that's being displayed to your friends right now. Updated the servant and craft essence enhancement screen such that additional EXP gain after level up indicated on the EXP gauge. So right now, if putting experience cards, it will just fill up to the green bar. Like you don't know how much is being spilled over. Now with this update, you will know how much is being spilled over. Updated message displayed after purchasing sent course through the Adventure Workshop. That's just an additional message. And then added health send cords and same cords fragment displayed to the master mission screen. So in the master mission screen, right now on the top it doesn't display, but with this update on top you'll see how many send cords and fragments you have. Also we added in subtitles for the master mission. So that if you didn't realize, subtitles, yay! DaVinci Shop, we're working on that. Added a display at the party setup and support setup screen indicated that which skills and local phantasms have been strengthened. Just colored. So those that went through the strengthening quest will be colored yellow right now. So you know that when you pick your support, you'll know that, hey, you're casual because you haven't finished your strengthening. But, so now even when you're making your own parties, you'll be able to tell which one has went through, and you kind of reminder to yourself as well. We kind of finished that quest. And, added an information button to certain items in the shop, so you know what they are, and you don't just blindly buy them. Added an icon indicating servant ascension stage and craft essence limit break status to the following screen. But right now, because the servant and only during certain swords you will see the stars. But right now, even for the servant selection screen, you will see the 4 stars displayed on the servant icon, so you'll know their ascension stage. Adding an icon to the mana prism exchange in DaVinci Workshop, indicating which limited item is available. Added a display of numbers of servant strengthening card can be held to the servant enhancement screen. So if you play JP, you'll know when you go into enhancement screen, there's that display on the right hand side that tells you how many EXP cards that you have. We'll be adding that in. So you won't have to go through your inventory to kind of count it. We'll tell you how many experience cards you have, and you can start cards. Increase the number of items displayed at the time in the present box in the item list. Added an icon indicating when the enemy debuff was being blocked by a skill effect during the battle. Added an icon indicating when an attack hits through invincible or dodge. So now you'll know. Added an option to return party names to original settings. I know I do it sometimes, like I'll create a new team and then I want to name it something else, or I just want to get rid of everything to like be the default name because I have OCD. Now you can just click the button and then you will change the team name to the default name. Add a confirmation message to data update at the home screen and updated server enhancement animation. That's the 19 UI improvement that we have along with the system updates. That should come, if my information is not wrong, next week. Also, next week. I know, some people are saying, here we go, time to bring out the pitchfork. I'm getting a mixed reaction in this. I'm not sure how to react to that. But let me go through first. So, Thanksgiving campaign. So first, login bonuses. So you get 18 apples. I know we're really short on apples. 18 embers, and then 3 summoning tickets for the login campaign. AP cost half for all daily quests. So time to start farming. Next is this. We added in 3 includes, so 1 for Shisha. After you play, you get 1 same court. 2 for Rider Bro, because so 2 we added for Iskandar is 1. The first one you play, you get same chords. The second one you play, you get strengthening to his noble finale. Pickups. Yeah, whoever says maroon, get out. You're no, we're not there yet. You know we're not there yet.
I'm sorry.
So it's a rotating banner. Starting from the 18th to 19th, you get this Kondar. Now the next one, we added something. Because people thought this is just, we carried this from JP's New Year to Thanksgiving, so we added her in there. Some people will be like, I was going to skip this banner. I see you. So from the 19th to the 20th, it will be Lyco. On the 20th, 21st, will be Shisho. And we added her as well. So on the 21st to the 22nd, will be Shuten. On the 22nd to 23rd will be Gilgamesh. Along with all the practices from the Kalamazoo High.
I'm not on yet.
Practices from the event. And then on 25th and 26th, it will be everybody. Friday shopping because I'm on it. Because that Black Friday money's gone. If you want a new TV, nah, you're not getting it. Next year, maybe. Why not both? I mean, if you can afford it. I mean, Geico probably gonna take a few months. Anyway, so that's that. We do not have a guaranteed summon this time for Thanksgiving. You will be getting them, just not like the way we got them last year, where it's nerfed. So we'll have more information on that in the future, but that's it for the Thanksgiving campaign. Next slide. We'll have more information on that in the future. But Fake Groundwater VR, we're putting down the PlayStation Store for the US store, coming 2019. So, you know, I know some of you, if you went to AX or any other convention where we brought VR, no, I think AX was the first time we brought VR. I know some of you will probably be like, oh, we have staff over there, you're just like nervous, you're like, I really want to do this, but I can't. I don't want to be judged. Now you can be lewd in the comfort of your own home. So, we'll have more information on that in the future, so please look forward to it. Then I do have two special announcements. We have heard people ask, is it possible to do a FGO standalone event in the US? We'll be doing a FGO special live event in 2019. It will be a tour, so we'll be going across US. Currently, I don't have any more information on that, but we'll probably have some more information toward later half of this month, actually. So please stay tuned. We'll have more information on the FGO standalone event. So if you have any guest requests, start praying them now. Okay, I can just tell you, yeah, she's gonna be there, so eventually.
Secret animation update!
Also, we are bringing our stream back. We are bringing our stream back. This time will probably be a more simplified format, mainly just gonna be me talking. We will kind of go through what's coming in December. So it's not like a full roadmap of a full year in the future, but kind of you get to know what's coming during December and what's coming toward the end of the year. We'll have more information on the standalone live events that I just talked about. We'll probably have some information on the date, the cities that we're going. We might be able to announce the logo and the key visual, we'll see. We actually got we just got like a rough design of the key visual. It looks pretty good. I can't tell you from July yet, unfortunately. But tune into the Caldea broadcast station where I will have more information on that. Toward the end of November. So currently we're kind of still adjusting the date when we're gonna do the stream, but toward the end of November is where we're thinking we're gonna do the stream. Maybe chords are involved, maybe. Maybe chords are involved, so. So, we'll go into Q&A. Now, I just want to get a final confirmation. Where's the marketing manager? What's that do that? That do that. We are getting chords for this panel, right? Okay. So we are getting chords for this panel. We'll have more information on that we just see it in game, be like, whoa, whoa. Yeah. So we'll be giving away codes in this panel, so just pay attention to in-game, make sure you log in. This is our way to force you to log in, to make sure you log in, and you will see the codes for this panel. We're pretty good on time. So, right now I'll do open Q&A. That's the mic in the middle. So if you have any questions you want to ask, just go ahead and line up in the middle. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. We do have a lot of people listening who want to ask questions, so if you can limit your questions to maybe one or two, that'll be awesome, just to make sure I can get to everybody. No? I'm not sure when the course will be in there yet, but you'll get it. Also, just a disclaimer, there are some questions that the answer is getting blocked behind, a little piece of paper called non-disclosure agreement. There are some answers that I am not at liberty to discuss. It's candy moment. So, but to the best of my ability, I'll answer your questions. So go ahead.
Two questions. First
Yes.
one, when will we be able to buy Buster shirts? And second, Tsukihime event when?
The Buster shirts, we do see a lot of people are buying them, so we'll see if we can still get some more from Japan, and we'll see if we can sell that at the ceremony event. Yeah, I'll have to talk with our merchandise department to see if we can get more of them. And Tsukihime event, I don't think so. I think the better question is Tsukihime or when. Then we can talk to FGO collaboration event, but I don't think anytime soon. Yes.
All right. So I was here last year. I asked about Kuriko. I know she showed up at AX, and judging from the whistles I heard, she is not here. Is that correct?
Yeah, she's not here.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I would be more upfront about. I'd be more upset about that. But as you announce this tour, if we can get Kuriko at least on the East Coast, but it'd be much appreciated.
She'll be there. Maybe with her friends too. I don't know. I'm not saying.
Counting on that.
I can say that, right? I'm not sure. Did I just say something I'm not supposed to? Anyway, hint, hint, wink, wink. Maybe. I'm just saying maybe. That was a maybe. So.
Someone very politely asked on the Reddit to ask this question.
Okay.
Apparently, there's horrible lag and weird screen resolutions on the iPhone X series.
Huh. Oh, the borders?
Mm-hmm. Prior to the release of the XS, XR, and XS May, they posted news that they would release an update after the XR launched to optimize the game. It's been a few weeks and still haven't gotten anything. So they're just passing along that the iPhone X series, they were promised patches and they still haven't received them.
That is a pretty universal question. I think it's not just for NA, that's affecting Japan and maybe other people as well. I can pass that along to Japan and we'll see what to do with it really.
Cool.
Yeah.
So obviously the Thanksgiving banner is awesome and we're really excited for it.
Thanks.
I think a concern that NA base has is with the dead weeks that we're getting that weren't in the JP initial run and it putting us further and further behind. Like we used to be like 2 months or a month ahead of JP and I think now we're just around the line with the timing of JP if not like a week behind. So I was wondering if there was has there been any conversations about the dead weeks and what we can do to condense the timelines so we're back on track, or are we just going to keep getting these dead weeks? Because they're fine and they're a nice break sometimes, but it would be nice to get to EOR before 2030.
You won't have to wait till 2030 to get an EOR, I'll promise you that. A lot of that is really event scheduling. A lot of times we'll talk with Japan to see if we need to adjust schedules to match certain things. Sometimes, I don't think, we didn't put in a lot of that, but sometimes we'll have like a May release event for certain things, or we'll put a banner here and there. We do constantly look at the schedule and see if there's adjustment needs to be done. And then we'll look at the player feedback to see if the adjustment was done correctly, and if not, we'll always look into future schedule and adjust that to make sure that we don't fall too far behind. Japan will actually even make sure that at least our scenarios and our main events are still supposed to happen when they're supposed to happen.
Right. So is there a thought of like switching around events, like maybe Babylonia comes in between things, or like story chapters coming in between events when they were supposed to be dealing?
A lot of, because for FGO, a lot of the events are depending on story chapters,
Right.
so it might be a little bit hard to switch that around. But we have discussed the possibilities of that. Is it possible to switch stuff? But so far, because just how events is so dependent on the stories, it's a little bit hard to flip orders.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, since I heard about the Fate Go's gonna be on the PS4, the VR version, but I'm gonna ask, is it gonna be possible that Fate Go gonna be on the Nintendo Switch?
I don't think so.
Not really?
If we're just talking about Grim Order, I know Grim Order is developed specifically for mobile,
Yeah.
so I don't think Grim Order will be on Switch.
Like in the special edition, let's say.
So at least I haven't heard anything about that.
Alright. So nothing much that I can talk about, so, alright? So have a nice day.
Sure.
So, when are we getting that exit button from the command card screen?
The exit button, you mean the back button? Oh, well, as you can see from this update, we put in a lot of UI and quality of life updates, and we are trying to put them in a lot faster than JP's original schedule, like how JP originally get them. Now JP waited 3 years for that back button. I don't think we'll have to wait 3 years. I know we're trying to work to find a solution to make sure that at least our build is as close to Japan as possible. So those are coming. I don't have the exact date of when are they coming, but we should be getting them sometime in the future. I doubt we'll have to wait 3 years for it, but we'll work on to try to update the build as soon as we can. So awesome, thanks. Yeah.
Hi, Albert.
Hi.
Last year I was here and you were talking about how you were able to roll a waiver, and I came up to you and gave you one of my printed waiver cards, even though you said you actually ended up did rolling the waiver on your other account. But a little birdie told me when I caught someone who were trying to roll, and I think it's fitting for this Thanksgiving that I give this to you, the King of Heroes.
Oh yeah! Thank you. Because I have them on MP5 in JP now. That really hurted my wallet. But with Thanksgiving coming, I got an MP5 him in LA too, so. I'm gonna try to do it on stream. And then Japan will be like, Albert, stop. It's painful to watch now. Stop. But thank you though.
I have another question.
Yeah.
I'm here, and they're a little shy, and I was wondering if they can get a picture with you.
Oh, yeah, sure. I don't mind. Thank you. Oh my God. No problem.
That was really funny, by the way. Hello.
Hi.
I'm not familiar with FGO, so as a newcomer, how will you sell me the game? That's what I'm at.
How will you summon it?
No, how would you sell me to play FGO?
Oh, okay. Do you watch any of the FGO anime? Not FGO. Any of the anime in the Fate franchise?
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, Zero on the Blade
First
Works.
one, a little bit of Blade Works. Works, that movie.
Okay, Heaven's Feel. Okay.
I don't know that one, but yeah. Yeah, I know, blasphemy, guys.
I mean, we are selling the package.
I'm lazy. I'm a lazy person.
No, it's okay. We are selling the package, so you can pick up a copy at the Aniplex store. So for Fate, it feels like a really, if you like visual novel or if you like the original delivery or how Fate was, it's kind of close to that. Because the scenario part of Fate is very much a visual novel, if anything. It's basically a visual novel. Unlike a lot of other mobile games, we are mobile. Mobile games that we do focus a lot on the story. So if you like the story of Fate, you will also like the story of FGO. And it's not a short story, it's a long one. For people that that have played through FGO, either LA or JP can tell you that sometimes to go through a story chapter, it takes you hours if you really rush through it, days if you play at your own leisure, sometimes weeks if you got work. But the story is really good. It's being supervised by Kinoko Nasu himself, and there are some chapters being written by Kinoko Nasu himself. So if you like the original story, you will like FGO. And also some of the other authors that participated in the Fate franchise have also participated in writing the scenarios. And also it's a waifu collector, so if you ever also house bundle, yes, that's true. So if you ever feel like what does it feel like to actually command servants in battle, this actually give you it's kind of like simulation of that, because when the light works, there's one interview that said that when they're developing FGO, what they're always keeping in mind is that how to make sure FGO properly portrays the story settings and the world setting of Fate franchise itself. So if you like the story, you like the characters, you're definitely going to enjoy this. And then we're also putting a lot of other new characters that never appeared in the Fate franchise before. So it's kind of interesting to see those interactions that maybe, for example, they only talk about, for example, Saber only talk about Mordred, or what happened with Saber and Mordred at the end of, her life, I would say. But this you can, if you watch Apocrypha, you'll know about Mordred, or you can even see what other characters are like in a different set. So.
Sounds good. Also, what are courts and what people are so happy about them?
Courts, they're
Why are you guys so happy about courts? I don't know what the heck that is.
So, just to be completely straightforward, those are premium currencies in game that you either get it through store through gameplay, or you have to save them from doing weekly missions, master missions. You also use them to summon your waifu and husbando. So the more you have, the better. And basically that's why people are so happy about it.
There you go, thank you.
Yes, in a way, it's free money.
So, give me 1 second. I'm pulling the question card from Reddit. So you said you use Reddit.
I do.
So the main thing that people on Reddit are really concerned about is having translation for pretty much anything. So when, for example, Arthur, when he chants his NP, for the story missions, for when a servant bond levels up, for when you get an ascension, I know we already put in translations for shop and for...
Oh, you mean subtitles?
Yeah, subtitles.
Oh, okay.
So, subtitles they basically want subtitles for everything. Are there more plans to put more subtitles in the game?
We are still in discussion of that, so I can't say too much about, is it definitely coming or when is it coming. We're still discussing about that because we do, every time we're putting additional fixes like that or additional features to the game, we also have to worry about does it affect any other part of the game, because there's already existing UI right there, so we have to kind of worry about how we place them. We have talked about them, and we are still in discussion with it. I don't have any additional information on that.
Okay. And my second question is, I know that you and the rest of your team work very hard.
They can.
As I can see, you're here alone on the stage. You've got a couple of people here, but you're pretty much doing all the work.
No. It's definitely a teamwork. It's not.
Well, I mean, like you're a team, but you guys are like you're the ones on social media. You're the ones organizing the events. You're basically doing all the work. So a lot of people are concerned if maybe you have too much workload, and maybe if you get like, for example, someone specifically just for social media.
We do have for social media. We do have someone specifically for social media.
Okay. You do?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. No. So if you do have one, then I would just suggest maybe more interactions in Twitter, Reddit, and...
A lot of times for our social media interactions, unfortunately, we do work with our Japanese partners as well. So when it comes to that, there's always a concern between understanding in different cultures. A lot of times, for example, Japan, you will never see any of them interact with fans on official social media. So they do have some of that concern, and especially when it comes to from a corporate business perspective. Sometimes we don't want people to go too crazy on the social media. Sometimes to kind of slip up and say stuff they're not supposed to, or do stuff they're not supposed to. For example, I'm not here to diss the Chinese server, so please don't kill me. But at the beginning, at the initial launch of the Chinese server, they made a kind of asking the players to come back. Like, hey, if you don't come back to play FGO, your waifu is gonna get still, like, Gilgamesh is gonna steal your waifu away. I think it was a picture of Gilgamesh and Saber. And then it's one of those that, please come back and play FGO. If you don't come back, your Gilgamesh is not your wife away. Now, obviously, that doesn't match the world settings. It doesn't match the characters, and a lot of times that for Fate, we need to make sure our communication with the players is as accurate as possible, and we sometimes don't want the social media to go way too crazy, and that's why there's a concern there of how much interaction we can have with the fans.
Okay, thank you, and I understand that you can't talk to us on Reddit, but it's nice that you are listening.
Thank you.
So this is going to be a little more of a serious question.
Okay, I don't like the site, but okay.
So the Washington State Gambling Commission and the EA and the EU are all talking together about implementing stricter regulation on gambling in games. Yeah. Is there a plan from JP or the NA for alternate commercializations or a backup fallback plan?
I haven't, to be honest, I haven't heard much about that right now. I know a lot of lawmakers have been talking about it, especially in some countries in EU. I think they took away like gachas.
Yes,
gacha.
Yeah, Belgium and the Netherlands have outlawed loot boxes entirely.
Yeah, so
and probably
I don't want to say it's one of those we'll think about it when we get there.
Okay.
But we have always been paying attention to those kind of news. So if movements getting more extreme or actually
going to fruition,
then we will have discussion on that. But so far, I haven't heard any much information on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, this one's kind of been on my mind for a while.
Okay.
When NeuroFest rerun launched in Japan, Herc had his animation updates.
What?
Heracles had his animation updates. So, but when NeuroFest rerun launched in the US, he still didn't have them. And I just want to ask,
I think that one was on the third or the second rerun the third rerun, right? But for animation updates, we're still in discussion to see when is a good timing to put them in. A lot of the animation updates are depending on the build. So the game version itself does play a factor into can we put certain animations in. I don't have any information on that right now. We'll update you guys whenever we have new animations coming. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Hi. Looking at through a lot of the different games on different mobile markets, I see that a lot of them don't give a security of big detail or a big mind. I want to know what Aniplex or the FGO team is doing to keep their users' data secure, especially whether it's access to their Google Play accounts or iTunes accounts. Because I've seen other
that is a back-end database development questions, which I cannot tell you the answer right now.
Is it because of NDA or is it because you don't know?
It's because of NDA. I cannot tell you.
Understand.
Thank
you.
Since my animation update question has already been answered, in 2017, the Japanese server Halloween, Obasake, I think it was Obasake Anime, she had a pretty ornate room, and I want to know when are we getting the Prince of Slayer wall scrolls?
I guess when that event drops, and it's actually funny and interesting to make that into a merchandise, we can always talk about it.
Thank you.
Hey, how's it going, Albert?
Good, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Hey, first off, I would like to say sorry if I make your job harder than I normally do, or than it normally is, via my content. So I like to make sure that people know that a lot of things aren't your fault, but unfortunately, you are kind of the face of Aniplex that we get to see. So a lot of things are directed at you, unfairly, absolutely. I definitely think that the live streams were absolutely a shock to me, and I think that's really a great step forward in going out and working with your community.
Thank you.
And I know that you said that you want to make sure that you're super accurate on the Twitter updates, but do you guys have any other plans besides the tour and the live streams for reaching out to the community and working with people?
Like before, I have talked with Japan a couple of times on is it okay to do maybe not a full like a social media interaction, but like a limited one. For example, on a certain day or for a certain occasion, we can do like hashtag Ask Albert, that kind of stuff. Yeah, we have talked about doing. It was a very early stage of the game, like the Ask Me Anything on Reddit. We have thought about that too. Now, at the beginning, we were not sure of how the player interaction would be. We didn't anticipate what was, I guess, the feedback or the reaction would be to some of our answers. Now that we are slightly more open, I guess I would say, for streams, we kind of answer some of the stuff. So, I guess baby steps. We'll start with the stream, and obviously the stream will be, it's not just going to be me talking. I'll be opening the Twitch up for Q&A, or we'll see if that we can have some sort of conversation there. And if that does well, maybe we can do that more often, because right now we're kind of, to be honest, even I'll admit that the previous couple streams were kind of like,
Be elegant.
And then so we are trying new format with the stream to see if it can be a little bit more interactive, more I guess crowd engaging. And if that does well, we can do that more often. So it won't be kind of like, convention season's over, Aniplex silence for 2-3 months, because I know that has happened before. I know that was kind of a concern of, hey, Albert says that he will talk to people at conventions, but what happened when conventions are, when there's no more conventions for that year, do they just become silent? So, and obviously because of the culture difference that I have talked about, we need to kind of make sure that Japan's okay with us doing it as well, because as I said, for Japan, it's kind of rare for them to do some sort of like official interaction between the staff and the fans. And we need to find a way to assure them that Albert won't go crazy on stream and say stuff that he's not supposed to.
Right, and one of the things that I really liked was the chill streams that you guys did on Facebook. And a lot of people didn't know about those because they weren't really advertised. And I only knew about them after somebody was like, hey, they do these chill streams. And so I would jump in there and I really liked that format. So I think that, you know, if your live streams go very well, I think that'll be a huge.
Yeah, thank you. I think for chill stream was kind of like one of our let's kind of test the water kind of stuff, and because it wasn't official, so we couldn't put on the official Twitch channel. We kind of just had to see what's going on, and it was after one of our official stream as well, where you know we saw the reaction. It was kind of like, what are you guys doing? That kind of stuff. So we just kind of want to change the format and see, okay, what happened if we just interact with the players how we normally do at conventions. It was just us talking normally as fans. We're just playing the games, kind of talk about what's going on. That seems to be received pretty well. People tend to like those a lot better than the official ones. So for this,
got quite a few viewers on Twitch as is.
So for this upcoming one, I'll try to do more like that. So less structured, or people not sure, is this for new players, is this for old players, what's going on. So after a year and a half, I tend to find that as long as we just act like who we are, we interact with the players genuinely as players of FGO ourselves, I feel like those streams will be better. So baby steps, we'll see if this upcoming stream will be better, and in the future, if that does well, we'll do more of that.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Albert. Before you leave, I have a letter from a fan that asked me to hand it to you. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, cool. I'll get that to you after.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Hey, Albert.
Hi.
So, I appreciate you guys going the extra mile, especially with this Thanksgiving event. Looks like you're really designing a new event for NA, which is just great. Because that kind of leads to my question. So I know rumblings, but the Fate Extra event that JP has, Fate Extra CC, I know it's not really as big in America or in everything. So has that been a discussion? And if we don't get, let's say we don't quote unquote get those servants, have we been looking at NA exclusive servants maybe? Or?
The last piece of information I got was that we're not skipping CCC. So.
All right. Okay.
Now, how do we make sure that the fans who have never played extra CCC will get the idea of, will get the context? That's another way, that's another discussion, because that's more promotion, marketing effort. But as far as gameplay-wise, the last time I asked, we're not skipping CCC.
Okay.
So.
Thanks, Albert.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not gonna be immediate, so. Just make sure you log in daily. Don't pass the time, and you'll be good. Yes, sir.
Hey, Albert. Hi. I just wanted to thank you for everything you and the team have been doing.
Thank you.
The game's fantastic. The event, everyone's already gone into it. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you first off for that. And then ask you two questions that I'm not sure you'll actually be able to answer, but let's see. So, first question, about Fate Grand Order Arcade, have there been any kind of talks about FGO Arcade, any kind of rumblings about, well, I guess first off, if there are any plans to bring it to console, or if there are any plans to bring it to NA? I know if anything, talks like that might be in their infancy, but any kind of talk on that field?
Console-wise, I'm not sure. I have not heard anything about that, so I don't have any information on that front. As to bring to NA, there has been talk about it. Now, obviously, I have mentioned it in the previous panel before that bringing arcades to NA, there are a couple of hurdles we kind of have to look into. We do have to clear, game center or arcades. It's not really as big of a, we still do have them, and we have a lot, but not as many as Japan. Holy Jesus, they have a lot of arcades. Crazy. So there's that. Also, we have to worry about operation costs, data updates, how do you do that, and stuff like that. So I cannot make any promises right now, and I don't have a definite answer for you to see is Arcade coming or not. But there has been discussion that I can say.
That's something that's great, actually. And then I guess second question would be, I mean, we already talked a bunch about in terms of social media presence, and I understand that they want to kind of keep a lid on things. They don't want things to get too out of hand, and I guess they're testing the waters with these new things like the streams and everything, the more chill streams, and that's really cool too. But I guess I was wondering if there were any plans or maybe any talks about going a step farther, or rather going a step in terms of getting in touch with members of the community who are making content that is teaching people how to play the game. I mean, people like GNA Reviews, Shotgun Shogun, people like that who are really like making a lot of content like that helps people. Because it feels like the Twitter is kind of trying to do that, but it feels extremely ineffectual. Like, it's like, here's professional tips. You can put CEs on your servants and you get more drops. Pro tips.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. So those kind of stuff, we definitely have the control of, and we can make proposals on that to say that, hey, can we work with a certain content creator in the community? That's definitely possible. So we can look into that in the future.
Right. All right, well, I think that's all. Thanks again.
No problem.
Hi. When the Heaven's Feel movie came out in Japan, they got a free C on the JP server. I was just wondering if, and when the Heaven's Feel movie came out in NA, we never got that free C.
You'll get them.
Okay. Any time?
Like really soon.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Like really soon. You'll get them, and then it's not just the Sakura key visual one too. Look forward for more information.
Hi, Albert.
Hi.
And first of all, thank you a lot for your work and to all the team.
Thank you.
And just a question. I have some friends in Latin America that love the Fate franchise, and they have a doubt. There is any plan in the future to be able the game able in Latin America, or no? If you don't know the authorization, I understand.
That become more like a licensing issue of how do we want to do that. I'll pass that along to see what's the future plan, but to be honest, I don't know what's the future release plan right now.
Okay.
Outside of the current existing territory.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, are you guys, is FGO planning to do a crossover event with Fire Emblem Heroes at any point in time?
I don't want to like just say it in like a very definite tone, but I doubt it will happen. But I don't know. I doubt it will happen though.
Alright, thank you.
Master. Do you know when the alternative outfits for the servants will be coming out?
Those are build specific. So when game updates, and sometimes as we get closer to the game updates as our builds are getting closer to JP, we'll have them. I don't have an exact date of when are we releasing them, because for JP, even for EOR when they release, and technically you get a different sprite or alternative. The costumes, you didn't really get them till like much later. So, but I'm not sure when are we implementing that, because for the other game updates, we have been doing them a lot earlier than JP's original schedule. Like we got the Grail system a lot earlier than JP, and then obviously we got these a lot earlier than when JP got them. So We could be getting them earlier, but to be honest, right now I don't have an answer for that to you. I cannot tell you when exactly.
And just one quick one. So when Gilgamesh comes to New York, can you make a dead-ass Astolfo outfit?
Sure. I mean, that is not like a definite okay, and I doubt it's gonna happen. But would you like when that event happened in JP? We're like, so are we really gonna do that event in Madison Square Garden? So are we? We're gonna rent out Madison Square Garden to do a FGO event. That'd be cool, though, to be honest. We have 2 years. Time to convince Japan right now. Give us more money. Yes.
Yeah, my question might involve a spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't finished the Fuyuki Singularity, so cover your ears.
Who hasn't finished Fuyuki?
So cover your ears if you are still struggling there. Yeah. Okay. Everybody good? Yeah. Okay. So basically, I know that the director is dead. So when are we getting her as a servant?
Oh, wait, what? When are we getting what?
Director. Ogre for the Anime Sphere.
Oh, as the servant?
Yes.
Well, we'll wait to see what happened in Japan.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. This is more on like the data kind of thing again. Recently I've had some phone problems. I kind of lost my data. And I'm not sure if I can get it back.
So the hardest thing for people to retrieve their data a lot of times is that can customer service prove that you own the account?
Okay.
And a lot of times that's the hardest step. You know, a lot of times if you already have, you know, friend code, bind code, like password, all that kind of stuff provided, like what phone did I play it on, here's my transaction history. There are cases where people got their account back, so it is possible.
Okay.
If you have a copy of your bind code, your password for the bind code, your friend code, the phone that you played it on, your transaction history, as much as you can provide to the customer service to prove that you're the owner of the account, the more likely you'll get the account back.
And I would talk to them through the FGO support?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have some people, I have to get this out there. I have some people that call us directly at Aniplex office. Unfortunately, we cannot help you there. We really cannot. We don't have the system on our end, and it's not handled by Aniplex of America. So, translation questions, those we can put into the game and stuff like that. But when it comes to data retrieval, we can't really help you there at AOA's office. So, but go through customer support, and as much as you can prove that you're the owner of the account, the more likely that you get your account.
Okay, and the next question is there like a diverse of a different transfer code kind of system, or?
Wait, what?
Works of a different like transfer code kind of system, or no? Well, different version of it, like how you guys have set up. Yeah, like.
Like a bind to like a social media or stuff like that. We don't have that system right now, and I'm not sure, because I cannot speak for the Japan's development team. I'm not sure if they have that in plan for the future. To be honest, I don't know.
Okay, well, thank you anyway.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, Albert.
Hi.
So
I might have to make the guy behind you the last question.
So, quick question about like the anachronism of some of the release in terms of materials.
Okay.
For example, at the Aniplex booth today, there were Caster Gilgamesh keychains and like MHX-A keychains when they haven't been released in NA. How do you deal with that sort of anachronism in terms of like explaining like this is here and how do we go about that?
A lot of time is, YOLO? No, okay, to be serious though, a lot of times for example, even if we don't sell them, other booths will. And I know a lot of other booths or other import stores, they have import those Japanese merchandise over. So even if we don't sell them, other people will. Now, being that we are the, I guess, the official face for FGO here, we want to be able to bring that to the player as well. So, a lot of times we'll review to see that, hey, maybe this servant's not releasing, I'm like, yeah, we cannot sell that. Some will be like, okay, we'll push it a little bit to be as close to the release as possible. But that's basically how we look at it. We look on two fronts. Basically, one, how likely is other store going to sell them? That's going to be a deciding factor for us as well. The other one is how big of an impact does it have by putting that merchandise out? Some people might ask, well, what the hell is that? Why is Gilgamesh dress so funny? We can say, look forward to that. We'll have more information on that in the future. But also another thing to note that is that although not everybody has played JP, most people do have a certain idea of what's happening in JP. Internet do exist. So even though the NA only players, some of them might be already spoiled what's coming. So we take those into consideration. We kind of judge to see, okay, would it be possible to sell that? And if the answer is yes, then we'll go ahead and sell it.
So, in regards to the last FGO anniversary in JP, we got announcements on the an adaptation of Babylonia and an adaptation of Camelot. The anime? Yeah, the anime and the 2 movies. Does the NDA allow you to is it in the process? Is there anything in the process of we're going to be bringing this to the US?
I don't have any information on that right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I cannot answer your question right now. Sorry, I have to wrap it. But that doesn't mean I can disappear. So you can either talk to me right after the panel or at the booth. But thank you guys for coming. It's great having you guys here. I'll be around for the rest of today. I'll be here tomorrow as well. So if you see me around at the booth or even after the panel, you still want to talk to me, I'll be able to talk to you guys. So.